Hey folks, Jonathan here. Next morning and day 2 working on the Ford Coupe, and I do have a windshield on the way. I went ahead and bought one. I ended up the windshield frame in decent shape. I mean, it's pitted, a little rough, stuff like that, but no holes in it, with no glass. Shipping and all was $180, which to me is way more than I'd normally spend, because I would just set this project aside and wait until I found one, and had way less money in it. But we're sort of on a deadline, so we don't have a choice. We're going to buy the essentials, or build the essentials, which these two door hinges are the other deal. I know everybody said, well, I got them on the Roadster body, but they're actually made completely different. The other ones are I think they're Speedway aftermarket for an open car. Open car and closed car hinges were different. But anyway, so we'll make it if we have to, whatever we got to do. I don't think it'd be that big of an issue, and we're going to keep on working on this. Like I said, we're going to try to get these panels in, and somebody had asked about how am I going to know how tall this is supposed to be, because everything's rusted off. Well, that's the point. It don't matter. We're just gonna I decided where I wanted the bottom of the panels to be, and I figured I'd do it, and then I would go ahead and build the body to the distance to the bottom of the panels, and then it'll probably have to be notched anyway for the rear end, or for when we set it down on. Don't know how far, but that's not a big issue either. And if you remember, the rear quarters on this was pretty warped up and bent out, and cracked all the way around, and I've got some of that welded, not all of it. I've got a lot of the dents out. I've done quite a bit of hammering and dolly work, and anyway, we're getting it there, and both sides are fairly straight. And like I said, we're going to start with getting something in here. I think we're going to get something good and sturdy across, plus we're going to go ahead and get this panel replaced up to underneath of this body line. Got to get that strengthened up, get our side to side strengthened up. Somebody had said something about the trunk. We really needed to get one before we went too far with it. So for measurement, you're absolutely right, except for the fact that we don't have one, and we're not going to buy one because they are really expensive. So we're going to build the trunk lid. So as long as our opening is square, it's not a big deal on an exact measurement of what it was from the factory. Like I said, if we had it, we would do it, but we don't. So, and let me see, I'm going to start hammering them panels out for the bottom section soon, but we'll probably get the roof on, welded in, and then flip the car back over. It's a lot easier to work on that section with it upside down. So with that, I think we're going to get at it. I don't know what else. We're missing some other parts. It's been so long since I've done an A. Last car I done was a T, 27, tall T, Doctor's Coupe, whatever you want to call it. And I actually chopped it 11 inches, and quite a few years ago. But I know we're missing the panel that goes here. The one that's in that car is welded in. Hopefully we can get it out. We're missing some stuff up top that we'll have to make once we get the windshield, to where the hinge mounts and everything. And I think that's about it. But I think I need to get a roof section cut out of one of these cars. We may do a little bit of bead rolling on it to strengthen it up. And we don't have a lot of an arch here, but we've got some, and we've got very little from side to side. It looks a little worse than it is because the roof's bent up, but once we get this roof in and welded in, we'll be able to get everything back straight where it needs to be. So our main curve is this way. So all right, I think I'll get at it here. Noah should be here in an hour or so, and we'll see what we can get done. Okay, I think we'll start with this. It's already falling apart, and it just saves me from having to take it off. So we're going to use this piece. This is a little thicker than well, it's a lot thicker than what's here, but it's a little thicker than what you'd normally use. But because of the situation and where it's at, it's not going to matter. So I'm actually going to narrow this where I need it, break it all the way across, and then well, bend it all the way across. I guess I shouldn't say break it. There's two raised sections. This one's in good shape, this one's in rough shape, but we're still going to go ahead and cut it out and put it in to keep these raised sections on it, and we'll weld it in and work with it. But I'm just going to get the measurement, get that good straight cut on this, and go ahead and get it bent. So I'll show you as we go on. Okay, we got it cut, we got it bent, and the problem I see is it just looks so flat. So we're going to do a little bit of a roll in it, and I think it's supposed to be rolled this way. Now we'd have done this on a flip roll before we bent it, but we don't have a slip roll that wide, so we're going to have to do it a little different. So what I'll do is I'll put it over a piece of pipe, and I'll just actually hammer it all in and get just a little bit of a curve, because if not, it's going to look like a flat piece, and it's not going to look, it's going to look out of place. So let me get at that. Okay, you can see it on camera. Full length, we just put a little bit in it just to keep it from looking like it was built by R2-D2. And once it's cleaned up and everything's done, it'll make it look like it's supposed to be there, instead of just being a, you know, a flat piece. Now we've got a little bit of bow we're going to put in it long ways. If we do it right, we can keep our bow in there. We've got, you know, we've got to keep this flat and straight for the trunk lid, and then we needed sort of a compound curve in here, and I've been hammering on it. I'll show you what we've got. So we've got our short curve here, which you can probably see from the end. So what we needed to do is put another curve in it to bring it lower in the center without affecting our other piece. So as you can see, I've been hammering on it, and we've got about a 1/4 inch gap in the center, maybe a little more. So we're slowly hammering it into a compound curve this way and cup that way. And metal will do about anything you want it to do. You just got to tell it how to do it with a hammer. Okay folks, some of you will like it, some of you won't like it. This is our roof. Got a little scoop on it. And I'm not going to tell you what it's off of. You might can guess it. But it looks good from some angles it don't look as good. But it don't matter. We needed something and we had it, and it was the right radius. So that's what we put on it. We'll get it finished up. Noah said we could put a third brake light in it up top. So anyway. Alright, so this panel's tacked in. That hood section's tacked in. And we're getting ready to, we'll do a little bit more welding on everything, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to the back here and try to get something finished up with it and get it ready where we can flip it back over and get started on the bottom panels. Okay, I say I got about a 50-50 shot on the roof as to whether the subscribers like it or not. But I like it from some angles. I don't like it from other angles. But let me tell you one thing. It would take me all of, you know, an hour just to go around and cut it out and put it back flat. Just add a piece back into what's left of the roof here, or what's left of the other, or the Gremlin hood. But for now, we're going to leave it. We're going to leave the emblem on it, and you know, that's going to strengthen everything up, getting it, you know, in there. So, and you can see screw holes here where somebody else had something screwed over top of this. So I don't know what they had on it. But anyway, we're slowly working away. We've working on the rear section, trying to get this strengthened up. We haven't got our wheel wells in yet. Of course, it started raining on me. Still working, but still got a lot to do here. But it's coming along. I keep having to leave and go do tows. So it's been pretty rough today, trying to do anything, and then of course it starts raining. So, but anyway, we're moving on. You know, some of the ways that we've done this, you got to think outside of the box on measuring when it comes to this stuff. I've actually used my pink cloth measuring tape. And I started up here at the body line where I knew it was straight and rolled it back to get a distance to the bottom on each side of the panel to make sure that the rear quarters was the right length down and all that good stuff, because you know it had been broke off and this piece was completely broken off, and I've just got it tacked back in place, and we're going to do a bunch of welding on it. And I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do on my rails here. We've got to get them straight, but we've also got to strengthen this up really well. And I'm almost thinking about maybe cutting a rib out of something, maybe even a thin rib out a 1/4 inch to run around it out of a plate. It would be easier to do that than it would be to bend a piece. But we'll figure it out. I hadn't decided for sure what way I'm going to go. I've still got a lot of welding to do on that panel, but the panel, the panel's in there good. It's looking good. There's not going to be any issues with it. We'll get enough strength in here to where we can, put some hinges in and be able to hinge the trunk up. And we're just, like eating an elephant, one bite at a time. And anyway, but everybody, I'm sure I don't even have to ask before you let me know on the roof. I've still got a little to do here. I could cut it back and bring it down. That's not an issue. I just hadn't done it yet. And anyway, we got it fit in there good, but I don't know. We may keep it, we may not. Who knows? The point is it's going to be strong enough to, once we get this back done, to flip this thing back over and then knock these panels out. And we're going to roll as quick as we can. Noah had to leave early today. And I have, like I said, been doing a lot of towing. So I'm going to keep at it a little bit here and maybe get a little bit more done before the rain takes us away. This is summertime. We have evening showers. Seems like every night, but it's been rough here lately. So, and if you want to see the inside, looks a lot different inside with a roof on it. It actually starts making it look like a car. And anyway, I guess if you're sitting in the middle, they give you more headroom, but besides that, it's just not going to help much. Might help a little bit. Who knows? It keeps you from hitting your head when you bounce it through the ditch anyway. Alright, let me get at it. Okay folks, so we're starting to replace the inner fenders here. And we'll go ahead and get one in. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them both in or not, because it's getting dark on me, or it's going to be getting dark on me here in a few minutes. So we're going to keep trying. Okay folks, I don't think today was successful as yesterday. Didn't get as much done, but we got some done. I got one inner fender in there, and I'm waiting on these corners. I went ahead and ordered them. Should be here, and when we flip the body over, we'll finish welding, and then we'll go ahead and do the panels. So, and you can see how far down I'm going, and which is actually not as far down as it was stock. And I don't know if they tapered up at the back or not, but when we get the corner on right here, we'll make it all look good. You won't be able to, it won't look bad, let's put it that way. And not as bad as my gremlin roof. But the thing we've got to keep at right now is this back. I got to get this supported really well. I don't want it moving around at all when I flip it, because once we get it flipped over, we're going to start doing the really final welding and stuff on everything, and that can't move. So tomorrow will be mainly reinforcing and maybe picking up some thin wall 1 inch. I've got 1 inch, but it's really thick wall, and I don't want to use a lot of that on there, so I may pick up some thin wall 1 inch square tubing, and we're going to start figuring out where the floor was or is in that one. We're going to have to do a little bit of a hump in the firewall and everything, because this one's going to actually sit farther forward, and we're probably going to sit it on the frame about the same location. I don't know how it's going to look, height wise, but it's going to be pretty low either way. It's still going to be over top of the frame. I'm not chopping the top for now. I mean, I'm just leaving it like it is. Let me zoom out here a little bit. Just going to leave it like it is. I like it like this. A lot of people like them chopped, but I think once the body is finished up down here, it'll make it look a little better. It won't look quite as tall. But that's something that can always be done later by, you know, me or even somebody else. It's not a hard car to chop. It's about as easy as they come. And anyway, like I said, main thing's the rear. We'll get on that. Get it strengthened up good. I don't know how far the frame kicks up on the other car, so that's going to be an issue also of knowing where, you know, to put supports inside and stuff. So we're trying to support the body without getting in the way of where the frame's going to be. And I would say that within probably sometime early next week to mid next week, we'll be taking the other car apart. I'm hoping, depending on how much time I get, but I hope to get as many of these panels made as I can and get them on there. I don't know whether I'm going to run it straight down or if I'm going to run a bead across the bottom. You know, I don't have a clue. You know, I do things as I do them, so, you know, things change sometimes, and sometimes I put something together and build something and then tear it all the way back apart and redo it just because I didn't like something about it. And like with the hood, we're going to see how that plays on us, and the gremlin, and then, like I said, it wouldn't be a problem to do away with the little scoop there in the center, but it's there for now, and sure makes it different anyway. All right, well, I'll quit jabbering on, and day 2's in the books, so we'll see what happens on day 3. All right, appreciate everybody watching. Till next time, bye.